My name is Merrill, CEO of Market Research. I'm a 35 plus year veteran of the research and insights community and the host of our podcast On the Mark. Welcome to another Merrillism segment. Today's Merrillism is a little bit different, kind of odd. I named it Don't Be Like My Dry Cleaner. Like most, I drop off my clothes at the dry cleaner weekly, and the staff is always friendly. A hello, a goodbye is always said, but there are a few things that are missing. A few weeks earlier, I dropped off my clothes and picked them up and paid for them. As I was getting out of my car at my house, I asked my son to bring in my dry cleaner. He said, "Dad, these clothes don't look like yours." As I took a quick look, it was 100% right. And 2 minutes later, we were back at the dry cleaners. Thankfully, after 15 minutes, they find my clothes. And life was back to normal and my shirts were back with me. The interesting thing was that the owner said, or frankly, actually what he didn't say. The only thing he said was, "Thanks for bringing back the clothes," which I thought was very odd. There was no sorry for the mix-up. No sorry for any inconvenience. In fact, no sorry at all. Lesson 1, say you're sorry. It isn't a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of embarrassment. Frankly, I think it's a sign of honesty and sincerity, and it shows the customer you really care about them and their business. In the past few months, I've also noticed that my dry cleaner will give me a date and a time when my clothes will be ready. Lo and behold, perhaps this has happened to most of the listeners, when I show up, they aren't ready. Now, I understand you can miss a deadline. But when you know you've missed a deadline, say something. They have my phone number. They have my email. Make a call or send a text and an email. Lesson 2, everyone misses a deadline. But doing nothing and sweeping it under the rug and not communicating is a huge mistake, and it can only cost you business in the long run. Everybody makes mistakes. But just apologize. Say something. By the way, not communicating is communicating. The next one was actually very funny, or at least I thought it was funny. And I hope that many of you have never had this happen to you. So I lose one of my buttons on my shirt and ask my dry cleaner, "Hey, can you sew it back on and charge me?" They said, "Of course, no problem at all. It'll be ready when the rest of your clothes are ready." A few weeks later, I wear the shirt and notice the button on my sleeve, all right, wait for it, was actually a different color than the one next to it. Are you kidding me? My dress shirts have 2 buttons on the sleeve, so it's very easy for me to notice. I looked at the bottom of my shirt, like most of you, where there's always extra buttons sewn in. And lo and behold, all of the extra buttons are there. I will admit, I did chuckle a lot because the buttons were not the same color. But lesson 3 for me is pay attention to the details. It is the smallest of details that can and will affect your business the most. Let me say that again. It's the smallest of details that can and will affect your business the most, and chances are cost you money. Rest assured, if you pay attention to details, your enterprise has a much better chance to be successful. Those are the lessons I learned from my dry cleaner. I hope you enjoyed today's Merrillism. Thanks for listening to the On the Mark podcast. I hope you have a great day. My name is Merrill Dubrow. Stay well, be safe, and please stay in touch.